it's just another really good tool to like socialize, right?
Mm.
Because like the foundations of like human civilization is built on like sitting around a campfire,
Yes.
storytelling and eating stuff. That's like
Yeah.
where like everything really came from for our society.
Yeah, I found that so interesting. I actually heard that on Jordan Peterson's pod. He had this guy come on and talked about how fire and food is what helps separate us from our, our ape relatives.
Yeah.
And like, once we developed the ability to, what's up, guys? We're back with the Way Podcast. Your host Sajid Marwar. Today we have my friend Daniel. We have Charles once again. Daniel hasn't been featured yet. He's one of my friends from high school.
Yeah.
Charles, you've seen or heard his voice. You haven't seen him.
Mm-hmm.
This is the real life Charles, not the 2D Charles, but
Not the 2D Charles.
not the 2D. All right. So today we're going to be talking about food, and kind of the idea I have for this episode is basically we're gonna go through, when did we start cooking, why do we start, and like what keeps us going, why do we keep continuing this, and what are our favorite things to eat and stuff. So like I'm just gonna dive right into it. So first thing, when do you guys start cooking? What was like the first time you actually not like making a grill like a toast, like actual cooking?
I feel like I first started cooking when I started like, experimenting with it was like around 8 or 9, around that range.
Okay.
Yeah, so just like doing basic stuff like what if I try like frying like eggs and tomatoes and make my own like sort of one for myself.
Yeah.
Back in China, that's like where I started myself.
Yeah. I started cooking because my brother was always like a big into cooking, and he used to always like cook like Christmas dinner, and I remember I thought that was pretty cool, so I decided to start doing it myself, and yeah, I'm pretty shit at it.
No, he's good. He's lying. He needs to go ravioli in pocket hole. Oh, God.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I have tuberculosis. They call me Black Lung.
Okay. But so yeah, that's actually I never knew your brother cooked like that though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually cool.
Yeah. I have a lot of fond memories of like when like I used to help him out like when he's cooking, and then like I'd fuck something up and he'd yell at me and I'd cry.
That's a pretty common.
Yeah.
That's a very common.
But my mom was always like, "No, don't cook. You're not a woman, right?"
Really?
Yeah.
Well, it's a Chinese standard.
Yeah. It's not a woman. It's a womanly thing.
I feel like for me, it's like I grew up like I don't know. In some ways, I kind of raised myself because like my parents aren't really always present, so I learned a lot of things like through that way. Like, what if I just make my own shit? Like, that's how I got into cooking. And obviously, like stage of the internet, like we can access a lot of food videos, tutorials, and such, and that's when I really got into like cooking in general.
Yeah. When would you say that like that kind of part, like you got more into like different techniques and whatever, like?
I would say probably around teenage or late teenage, around 17, 16.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, for me, I always love food. Like my family are foodies. Like they like to eat and cook a lot. Both my parents are good cooks, and my grandparents are great cooks. My grandmas. So, I was always surrounded by good food. Thankfully, I was lucky. Some people don't have that privilege, but that kind of influenced me. Like, as a kid, I knew how to make peanut butter on bread and butter toast and make my cereal.
Peanut.
Yeah.
Butter.
Oh God. And yes, yeah, but when I really started thinking about it more was actually when I was around 14. I started to always love, everyone loves instant noodles, of course.
Yeah.
And I just started to experiment, just with adding shit in there. At first, it was the classic green onions and an egg, you gotta add that. But then I started different styles. I was like, oh yeah, you can make it with less broth, make it more concentrated, almost like a stir fry. Then you go for more soupy one. Sometimes I threw like frozen shrimp in there. Then I did like a bok choy, like just experimenting.
Yeah, and because
Yeah.
it's always like the beginning for like children, right? I mean, like I started with like udon noodles as well. It's like I put in the water, I boil it, like what else can I add on the side, stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Trial and error kind of
Trial and error.
situation. And like after that, when I really started cooking was pandemic. That was when I was like, I'm gonna learn how to cook.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's a bit different from like if you think about like if you break down cooking, it's kind of like a science experiment in a way. But like I feel like in other ways it's like you're improvising a lot of stuff at the same time, so it's kind of like creating like the art piece as well.
Yeah, because food is science, but the way we cooking is an art.
Yeah.
Also, right?
Culinary arts.
Right. So, and people use food to express so many different things, and like,
Yeah.
even on like the basic level, right? Like, even on a home cooking level, like especially in Asian household, like it's not always like, oh, I love you, oh, tuck you in tonight. It's not one of those. So I don't know if you want that either, but it's usually like, oh, I made you food. Here's some fruit on a plate.
Yeah, you better come downstairs. I'm gonna beat the shit out of you.
Yeah, you better come downstairs and eat this food I made, slaved away all day, just for you.
Yeah.
But they use it as a way to express their love, right? Because they don't do it in other ways sometimes. That I was just glad, especially because you reach that point where you can actually have improvisation when you're cooking and artistry. Because before you're like, oh my god, I'm messing this up. This is burning. I have to look at the recipe. Wait, I have to put this. I use teaspoon instead of tablespoon, or tablespoon instead of teaspoon. Like in the beginning, that was how it was, and I started with like the hardest thing to make.
And eventually, like as you like do trial and error, you taste it. You're like, oh, this is what I messed up on. This is what I can do next to do it better.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah, and cooking is I find like a good kind of medium for that. That is like, it's a way to advance in like a hobby without actually having a lot of impact. Like the worst thing all right, we're back in. So I was talking about like cooking is a way to, it's like a pretty low impact hobby, right? Like a lot of certain more extreme things have more mental impact, right? Like, oh, I messed up on this food. Like, it's still food.
Yeah.
Most of the time it's worse than you actually think it is. Sometimes it's really bad. I mean, there's been times where it's like, this is inedible.
Yeah.
Like, I burned the shit out of this. But usually it's like, okay, this doesn't taste the best, but I'm still going to eat it because I made it. Versus something else, it's like, oh my god, this is so intense. But this, like, food you cook every day, right?
Yeah.
It's something that you can improve on. I find you can improve very fast with food.
Mm-hmm.
If it's really easy to do every single day because it's something you need food. It's really an avenue to express your creativity, like so many different cuisines in the world and all that, and then you can use that to learn different things. Especially, that's what I really liked about it.
And like, it's just another really good tool to like socialize, right?
Mm.
Because like the foundations of like human civilization is built on like sitting around a campfire,
Yes.
storytelling and eating stuff. That's like
Yeah.
where like everything really came from for our society.
Yeah, I found that so interesting. I actually heard that on Jordan Peterson's pod. He had this guy come on and talked about how fire and food is what helps separate us from our ape relatives.
Yeah.
And like once we developed the ability to create fire, that's when a lot of things changed, right? Like we could cook food, we had more time to think because we cooked the food, we didn't have to chew it.
Yeah.
Which is you think it's such a trivial thing, like how long you chew your food for. But before, we used to be chewing literally for 6 hours a day.
Yeah, because it's
Which is
all
all-
Yeah.
It's kind of funny.
That's why cows, they're so stupid. Because
Yeah.
all they chew their cud and then they vomit it up and they chew it again like a bunch of dumbasses.
Yeah, I mean, like that's all they do. And then the more time you actually have to think instead of actually just surviving in the wild, the more advanced you can get. I mean,
Yeah, it's just like it's just like such a natural thing, because like what differentiates us the most is communication. We can share information
Mhm.
between like each other. Like through food, it's like even now, right? When you're approaching someone new, you like either type of like what music do you like? What kind of food do you like? Those are still like
Yeah,
most
basic
common
human things. Yeah.
yeah.
Everyone eats right, and it's really depressing. Like when you meet people who don't really like food, right? They grow up like
I think we know somebody.
yeah.
So his name was the K.
Who?
K.
K. Oh, K.
Too spicy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna bleep that out.
Yeah, no, but like
Yeah, you know, like he eats to live, not lives to eat.
yeah, and that's I don't know. I always found that strange, right? Because like those people, they're just like content to eat fucking microwaved shit all the time,
Yeah.
right? Because that's all they know how to fucking cook.
Yeah, man. I mean, yeah, it's definitely something like same thing with music, at least for me as well. It's like just listen. I don't really. It's like I listen to whatever. The worst is like I don't listen to music. Okay, fine. I guess some people are not into that, but I just listen to whatever. Like, oh, I don't like this. I just listen to mainstream stuff. It's like, you know, branching out a bit makes a difference. Like, the thing is, there's a limit, right? Because sometimes when there's like a new, especially in like, you know, North American society, it's like when there's like some new cuisine and it's introduced, like it kind of gets a little. Once it's accepted into mainstream, sometimes it can taint it a little bit, right? Like think about, you know, Japanese food in downtown Toronto. Like there's just so much Japanese food that it almost reduces
Like the
average quality of everything
Yeah,
just by the sheer amount of Japanese restaurants. Right?
the integrity is not really there anymore.
Mm-hmm.
At least for like Japanese food, like
Yeah, like
you find
think about
those
just how many just cheap sushi places there are, right? Like, and it's fine to have those, right? That's what keeps it alive. But like, there's a lot. There's a lot of random Japanese restaurants, and you know, like, it's when you find a good place, then it's like, wow, you know.
Yeah, like how many like actual sushi places do you like name
Yeah.
in Toronto? Like,
But they're usually expensive.
yeah,
right?
I did go to like one on King Street. It's
Yeah.
called Minami. It's pretty
I
good.
mean,
Yeah, but yeah, it's really expensive, right?
yeah, like I got my parents took us out for this sushi place in Etobicoke. You know, like proper. There's just one set menu, and you choose either the one with meat and the one with only fish, and then you know they bring it out seasonal. That's one aspect of food that I really appreciate, especially from like the Japanese. They have it. They've created such an art form around it, especially the high level culinary aspect. And I'm usually more about the home cooking, you know, like every day. That's the stuff I really love, and I like to cook myself, right? But I still really appreciate, especially as somebody who is a home cook, like when you go to a nice restaurant and you get that, you know, perfectly crafted piece of sashimi cut properly, seasoned. Like sometimes it's seasoned with, you know, like a proper dipping sauce. Oh, and you make sure you only put wasabi on this piece. You know, like it matters, right?
Yeah, especially sushi, it's very particular, right? Even down to like the temperature
Yeah.
and how much they touch the sushi can impact like how you perceive it, you know?
Yeah.
Because the fat melts at. Sorry.
You want some water?
The fat, it melts when you touch the piece of fish, right? That's why, like, when you see those sort of like sushi burrito fucking bullshit places, you know, the person's fucking molesting the goddamn piece of fish for like 30 minutes, right? And it's all greasy and gross.
It's like, I wonder why.
It's like, yeah, kind of, it's important,
Yeah.
no matter how
Little
trivial it
things.
sounds.
Boy, just going to like high-end places, like you're experiencing it and then you're bringing it back to home cooking. Because you know, high-end stuff is like inspired by home cooking, just refined.
Yeah.
But you can always like take it back and then like refine your own cooking as well.
Yeah, I think that's something that I've been trying to do a bit more. Is try to, because I went like all the way in with making restaurant food at the beginning when I started cooking. And that like kind of tired me out a little bit.
Yeah.
And then after that, I'm like, you know what? What is it? It's like, if I wanted somebody to try Indian food, I wouldn't give them butter chicken, right? And that's like me, you know what I mean? That's like me doing a restaurant dish of some other culture and learning how to make that. So I want to learn the stuff like your friggin' grandma makes for you,
Yeah,
you know,
that's the most
every day.
authentic
Like, that's like the real stuff, right? And the simple, because cuisine, somebody said, this. I think it was what was his name? Say not as Lucas Zinn. Lucas Zinn, I believe. So he's a big chef now. He has a couple restaurants in New York. He does like modern Cantonese stuff, and he's like all over YouTube, right? And he had this saying that cuisine is not ingredients, it's technique.
Yeah.
Right? Because cuisine can be the same. Like American Chinese is still Chinese food, right? Just with different ingredients adjusted to a different palate, but the technique is the same, right? You know, stir frying, simmering sauces, fermented sauces, thickening with the cornstarch. Like, it's the same technique, but it's just applied to different contexts, right? And a lot of people shit on like Americanized versions of things, but sometimes it's good. Like, also, it's not like the most important thing is like if they don't claim this traditional.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
just be like about it, right?
Like-
Like say inspired. Like you don't have to. As for me, honestly, as long as it doesn't say it's an authentic dish,
yeah.
then I don't care, right? You can because like there's no point in gatekeeping food. Right? The whole point of
Yeah.
food is to be shared, right?
It's like even like it's probably a bad example. Like even like talk about very not authentic,
Yeah.
but still a lot more fuckers go there, right?
I mean, yeah, Taco
Yeah,
Bell's good, man.
yeah, it's
If
good.
you, if like if you just accept it for what it is, you
Yeah.
know, it's like
It's greasy.
how can
yeah.
you fucking disappoint yourself?
I mean, and you'll poop a lot the next day, but I mean,
You had a good time.
it tasted good in the moment. Right?
Yeah.
Fry supreme.
I love fries supreme. You
Bro,
know?
it's so good.
I like authentic Mexican food, and I like Tex-Mex.
Yeah.
Exactly, Tex-Mex, and it's who to say it's not authentic? It's just not because
It's
authenticity.
it's authentic to themselves.
Yeah, right. Because you can say it's not traditional. That's something I would agree with. But yeah.
But Panda Express is a piece of shit. Yeah.
Okay, I'll give you that. I'll give you that. Orange chicken. Wait, what's one dish from like an Americanized, like an Americanized food that you actually kind of like that people should kind of shit on?
I don't know, like
Like think about, for me, honestly, it's kind of like sushi rolls. Like that's because really,
yeah,
like,
doesn't really exist in Japan.
yeah, they're more of like a North American version. Like they're kind of like I obviously prefer sashimi over everything, but like you go to like just a regular sushi place, you know, you're not expecting the highest quality sashimi. I'll get a couple rolls, and it's like, this is good. It tastes good.
Yeah, it's very like adjusted to like the North American so like palate, you know. There's some fried, some crunchy bits.
Yeah,
right?
spicy mayo.
Because like
spicy
you know,
mayo,
like I feel like a lot of
right?
people like, here like they can't just like immediately approach something like just eat sashimi and nigiri,
Yeah, like raw fish. What?
right?
You
Like,
know?
they can just like, they can't approach that immediately. I think that's like a good transition. I think let me think on my side of things. Like the thing with like Americanized Chinese food,
Yeah.
it's like Chinese food by itself is already hit or miss, right?
It depends. Yeah.
American Chinese food is like even more hit or miss.
Yeah.
So it's like there's one thing like you know some viewers might think one thing that's very very not authentic is chicken balls. Those do not exist.
Chicken balls.
Those
Bro.
do not exist.
I remember going to you go to Asian buffet. So you fucking
everywhere.
chicken balls and ketchup. Oh god, dude! I never would have it, but I always just see it's like, what the hell? How is this?
No, I fucking hate American Chinese.
Okay,
I
come
don't
on.
know. It's just my thing.
Well, think about
You know, I
American
go to
Chinese
fucking
go-
I go to Mandarin and like like
Mandarin, that's
maybe
like
once or twice, and like, dude, it sucks.
No,
it
yeah.
kind of sucks.
But when,
I'm not gonna lie.
yeah. There's always those few things that are kind of good though. Like for me, it's like, you know, you have a fucking low mean. Like low mean from an American Chinese place is not real low mean, right? It's not low mean is not a stir fried noodle dish.
Yeah.
It's a sauced dish. Like you have cooked noodles and then you put sauce on top and you mix it. Now, that's a traditional version, right? Then like, I mean, it's just a stir fried noodle, right? At the end of the day,
Yeah.
like
I
Shanghai
remember-
noodles, not from Shanghai. Also, right?
Yeah. There's just too much like traditional shit, and there's too much like Americanized stuff. But it's like what people enjoy, right? Like I feel like food's such a personal thing.
Yeah.
Like what's authentic to you, is what's authentic. Like
What
to
is
you,
authentic?
right?
Yeah.
It's like well, what example we had before, right? The K person, right? they can like cook up like absolutely inedible stuff like in our standards, right? But like
Yeah.
they'll still enjoy it.
Yeah.
That's like
So authentic to them.
And then you put like ketchup on it, some shit.
Disgusting.
They're like, that's so spicy.
Yeah. I mean, it's to each their own, right?
To each their own. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, okay, so moving on from that, what are some of your like favorite? Let's just say your favorite cuisines to cook and to eat. Like, they don't have to be both, obviously, but like, why don't we start off your favorite cuisines to cook?
I like making white people food. I'm not gonna lie.
European food is good.
Like I like making pan sauces.
Yeah.
And I really like French cooking specifically. I like making emulsifications because to me it's just fun stirring the thing till everything comes together
Yeah.
in like a nice luxurious sauce.
Pan sauces are good, man.
Yeah, but
Nothing wrong with it.
I don't know.
People shit on European food. Like now, like
Yeah,
it's
no,
flipped
European
over.
food is really, really good. Like, there's a reason why like French cuisine and Italian cuisine is so famous in the world.
Yeah, right. I mean, butter makes everything better, right? So
Like the best restaurant in the world right now is in Italy. So like,
yeah,
it makes sense. Like,
Yeah.
they just make good food. There's so much history.
yeah. It's like good food is good food, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It doesn't matter where it comes from.
Yeah, just I think people just hate on the European.
Although you guys see like this, you ever see those like Instagram foods where people just make it just because it's
God.
for the Instagram reel?
Okay, this is gonna be the
That
clip
kind
on
of
Instagram.
shit is fucking. It's actually
Okay,
nasty.
That is the most disgusting thing. Okay, we're gonna clip
They-
this part, and I'm gonna put this as the clip for fucking Instagram reels, okay? Because all you guys on fucking Instagram reels making these disgusting
They like deep fry
casserole.
a full like block of spam and put
Yeah, it's
cheese
like-
inside that shit.
Today we're gonna
some
we're gonna
reason.
merge 4 donuts and then deep fry it.
Okay, so what we're gonna do? We're gonna put macaroni and cheese inside a croquette. Then we're gonna bake it inside a ziti with some cream on top. Also some corn dogs. Why don't you just cut that up? Throw it in there.
And
Put it
it's-
all in a dish.
Sometimes they just make the food absurdly big for no reason. Like the shit's fucking dry and overcooked, and it's all cold by the time they finish
it's
it.
just greasy, dripping with fucking
I know.
oil.
Instagram
Oh.
has like the duality of Instagram food. It's like the most ridiculous, like trying to just get views kind of food, and then there's like the actual really interesting things. But yeah, that's definitely like that's
It's so wasteful too. It's like why you don't gain any knowledge
I mean,
from this.
like, first of all, who would eat that? You're pouring 3 cups of heavy cream into a fucking baking pan with fettuccine pasta and canned fucking mushrooms. Like, it's disgusting.
It's fucking gross. So you know.
And they call it easy. Because you throw
It's
everything
not
in the pan.
fucking-
It's not
bro.
easy. Bro, just making a regular pasta is not hard. You boil the water, you put the pasta in there. Oh yeah, even get a jarred tomato sauce.
Yeah, like
And pour it in the
so
pan.
much.
It's so much better.
I feel like spending like 10 more minutes is better than getting fucking food poisoning for 2 days.
I know, it's disgusting. Like the stuff that I've seen on there. And it's,
Yeah,
But yeah, we digressed.
it's so gross.
But what? How about you, Charles? What do you like to cook in terms
Oh,
of
I
cuisine?
mean, like I grew up in a Chinese household, obviously, so like I normally just make like stir fries and shit like that. I think like our cuisine is like so heavily based off of like noodles and rice. Just everything sort of revolves around that. But since I really gone to like Japan, like in its culture during my teenage years,
Yeah.
like I do like tend to like create like fusions between like Japanese styles and like Western Chinese like styles.
Yeah.
That's how I usually cook.
Yeah, like one thing I've been getting into more is Western Chinese food, just because it's it's newer.
Yeah,
to me,
it's
right?
newer.
We grew up with Southern Chinese food here in Canada, so it's nice to experience another. Because China's a huge country, right? It's got a lot of people in it, and it's also the fifth largest country, fourth or
Yeah,
fifth largest
and
country in the world.
it's very, very diverse in the way like people like live. Because
Yeah.
in like Canada, right? We don't like differentiate ourselves like oh, he's from fucking Alberta. I don't want to talk to him. I mean, like maybe with a couple of claws, but
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
different.
yeah.
That's
Oh,
different.
yeah. Sorry,
Um,
guys. Sorry, Quebecers.
But like in China, it's like very obvious. Like, oh, he's from fucking Beijing. He must be annoying as fuck. but like.
He must make good pecking death.
No, it's like Beijing people are fucking xenophobic against other provinces for some reason.
Oh yeah.
But like the same thing with like cuisine. Like every single province's cuisine is very, very different. Like I came from the famous one, Sichuan.
Yeah.
But like its neighboring like provinces like Guizhou, Yunnan.
Yeah.
They all have their like, unique like way of dealing with spice.
Yeah.
How soft it is, how hard it is, how sharp it is. It's really it's a very diverse country for food.
Yeah, and I feel like people underrate Chinese food in that way, but I think that's getting. I mean, we always joke about how the gentrification of Chinese food in downtown Toronto, but I mean, it's in some ways it's introducing a lot of different types of Chinese food that most people in North America, that if they never heard of it, they've most likely never heard of it, right? Like Lanzhou noodles. Most people have never. Think about, could you ask the average person, like my parents' generation, or even a few years older than me, that didn't grow up like and go on the internet and see all these kind of things. Like no one knows that like Lanzhou noodle, Taiwanese beef noodle soup, like all these.
The food in downtown sucks. Okay.
No.
It's all based off trends and fucking.
Okay.
It is now, but like
it's changed. Yeah.
There's still like a lot of places that
you have to just
do
look.
unique stuff.
You gotta look for it. If you
That's,
just go to anyone,
like,
it's like
it might be true that like 60% of this Toronto has been covered by boba, but sometimes you just like.
No offense to my Taiwanese viewers, but sorry, Ethan Teo, boba is taking over downtown. Don't like it.
No offense to the Chinese girls that come out the boba shops.
The boba, what do they call boba?
But how can you drink so much boba?
It's not good for you.
It's too much.
It's so sweet.
And it's so sweet. These people.
Tapioca's cancer.
Yeah, 3 boba haters right here. Right.
I don't.
I'm not a hater.
I don't hate boba. Like I enjoy like once in a blue moon, right?
Yeah, but it's not every
bad.
day. And they're expensive too.
Yeah, it's like Hong Kong milk tea. Like that shit's good, but like. I don't want to mix like fucking mango, dragon fruit, and
it's like
into one drink.
It doesn't make sense. It's just a combination of like, it's like either yuzu, fucking matcha, or fucking strawberry.
Doesn't make any sense.
It's just it's like a wheel, a lottery wheel. It's like you got the yuzu, and then it's like your topping is like, oh, you get
it's like you're
boba, or some fucking cereal for some reason.
You're some grandma playing the slot machine.
It's literally that, and I don't get why people why are people still so obsessed with bubble tea?
I think it's so sweet too. I mean, I don't know, man. People, I mean, it's to each their own.
To the point where around me, I can't even find like food to eat.
It's just boba.
I don't know how people
You can
even
just get
live.
popcorn. You can get popcorn chicken and boba.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Taiwanese popcorn.
You could.
Hey man, Taiwanese popcorn chicken's fire, but I mean, you gotta eat something else.
Yeah, I just feel like not a lot of things is also like it's a social thing as well. It's like my friends will like boba, therefore I must like boba as well.
Yeah.
That
Something
could
like
be
coffee.
too.
Same kind of culture idea, right? Like I'm into coffee as well, not like a super like aficionado.
I think the reason why like it's more like popular than coffee, just like because it's not as divisive as coffee, right?
Yeah.
Because some people really despise the taste of coffee.
Yeah, and also coffee is like, there's an air of elitism around it. Boba has no elitism.
Yeah, just corky Taiwanese. Sorry.
Oh god, I'm gonna have a field day editing this thing, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think I kind of went off the topic of.
But
yeah, for me, cooking in terms of my favorite cuisine to cook is definitely Indian food. Same Charles. Grow up in a Indian, your ethnic household, and you're like, this is what I'm gonna like eventually, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like I don't think Indian food is underrated in the general scheme, but I think it's just not as popular right now.
It's underrepresented.
Underrepresented in the proper sense because, because Indian restaurant food has been adjusted so much, like. Because there's certain dishes like chicken tikka masala, butter chicken. These are all like dishes that were created. Like chicken tikka masala was created for white people in England.
Mm-hmm.
I mean that's why, right? And There's a lot of dishes that are like served at restaurants that I even like people love butter chicken, like even Indian people, but I don't like it. It's just too sweet. Most places don't make it right. They don't use dark meat, but like there's so many other dishes that are so much better. Like if you go to an Indian restaurant, get some kali mirch chicken, black pepper chicken. It's got the same sort of vibe as butter chicken, right? It's got a creamy sort of sauce, but it's not cream based. It's yogurt based and cashew nut. A real butter chicken has much less cream than you think.
Yeah.
You see these recipes online, they're like, add 1 cup of heavy cream. It's like, no. You're supposed to add, at the end, you add a couple of tablespoons, and you're supposed to use cashew cream. You actually make cashew cream, you blend up cashews with water, and you use that. Right? Even then, and I'm like, because it's not the dishes like that we eat. Nobody eats butter chicken at home. Right?
Yeah, right. Because like we don't fucking make kumbo chicken every single day. Like,
yeah. You're not deep frying the chicken and flash frying, marinating it for hours.
If you grew up in a Chinese household, you probably know this. It's just like we make rice and then we fucking stir fry some random bullshit in the fridge. That's how.
That's literally it.
Yes.
Yeah, you just take your leftovers, stir fry it together, and then put it over
soy
some rice.
sauce, oyster sauce, stir fry it.
Yeah, that's like home cooking.
Meanwhile, these like white people Chinese recipes, like okay, we're gonna put the soy sauce, and then we're going to put the cornstarch, and we're
Then
going.
you see your mom doing it. It's like just throw random shit in there, fucking.
It's like, oh, is that?
Yeah, like legit. My mom, when she makes like a complex, just like, oh, this is such a pain in the ass, right? And like, yeah, I just feel like Indian food, like at least in Canada, I feel like it's kind of underrepresented.
Yeah.
I can only find Indian food in like roti places.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing is, there's actually a lot of good Indian food in the GTA,
Mhm.
but you have to look. You have to find like the better. There's a lot of it. It's a lot of like these like. Had like Bombay. Anything that has Bombay in the name, don't go there because they're not actually serving food from Bombay. It's all just Punjabi food that's been adjusted. There's so many places that have Bombay in the name. Actual Bombay food is completely different.
Yeah, like they
yeah.
just adjust it way too much. Because I feel like before I really interacted with like you and like just Indian food in general,
Yeah.
I feel like the only like in my head the perception is like, oh, curry.
Yeah.
Right.
That word is just divisive in itself, but I'm not
Right.
even gonna get into
Because the best like Indian restaurant we ate at, like a restaurant, was in Japan in Kyoto. It was
Okay.
like a small like shop.
Yeah.
And they just served me naan and like all different types of curry
Yeah.
and like food. It was so good.
Bro,
Right?
Japanese food's too popular.
Yeah.
But like it's not
Too
even like
popular.
actual Japanese food.
So
Yeah,
much
it's like-
katsu, so much ramen.
Yeah, there's like ramen, like I mean,
There's no variety at
I
all.
know. And then all the ramen places, like, okay, they're all okay. None of them are horrible. Right? Yeah, Kenzo Noodle House, Kinton Ramen, you know, I think there's Ichiban. There's Ichiban. There's like so many, especially down there's so many ramen places, but they're all just serving. Okay, we have a miso broth. Okay, we have miso tonkotsu. We have
And then
shoyu
shoyu.
tonkotsu.
And then the
And then-
gyoza on the side or karage.
Yeah, and then you have, okay, you get a deal, buy Sapporo, you get a 20-ounce Sapporo for
the
$5.
thing is, right, stuff like fucking shoyu tonkotsu
Yeah.
doesn't really exist. Right? It just shoyu. Like you just have shoyu.
A good shoyu broth, like for people who don't know, shoyu obviously means it's like a
Soy
soy
sauce.
sauce based broth. Most places here in Canada are gonna do a shoyu tonkotsu, which is like the creamy pork broth.
Which they usually don't mix those together at all. Like,
Exactly.
They're separate things.
Yeah. And the reason why I know more about because that was my first thing I started making when I started to cook was ramen. That was like my thing I got really into, and I've only been to 2 places that have made like really good shoyu ramen, which is basically it's like a clear broth. Usually it's dashi based, so it's got like bonito flakes, like a fish flavored broth, and it's either mixed with a fish flavored broth on a chicken stock or a pork stock, but it's clear, crystal clear
Yeah,
broth.
that's what it's supposed to be, right?
Yeah.
Because like I had shoyu in Canada, and like it doesn't fucking even match like the fucking shoyu I got at 10 a.m. in the morning in
A random
Akihabara.
place. Yeah, the
In
most touristy
Akihabara,
place.
the interior of that place looked like a fucking hospital from the 80s, right? Like,
You go, like,
but that was still
or
better than
something.
the shoyu we have in Canada. It just like it's been changed so much.
Yeah. I mean,
So
because
far
nobody
from-
really I mean, the one place I went to, I mean, that place was phenomenal. One of the best bowls of ramen I ever had. It was actually down here, close in this area, and even up at like Sansote. Sansote is one of the
Sansote is
better
really
ramen
good.
places in Toronto. Like, to shout out a place, they're actually at Union Station Food Court.
Yeah.
They have a location there.
There's one in Mississauga at Square One as well.
Yeah.
And the one we know is on Dundas.
On Dundas, yeah, really good. Like, and it's a good place because how many bowls of ramen do they have? Five on
Yeah.
the menu.
Because like ramen places don't really like make new stuff.
Yeah,
Like,
I understand. Yeah, I like it when they do when seasonal things make sense.
Yeah.
But like, there's not like 30 different types of anything on a menu. Usually means that like some of those things aren't going to be the best, right?
Yeah. Some of those are going to just be bullshit for like
Yeah.
pandering. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just kind of sucks.
Yeah, you just gotta find good places, man. Like, I think it's also because we're more into it than the average person.
Yeah. Again, most people don't know about any of this. Most people don't know like what's authentic or not. Right?
Yeah, I mean, of course, like the average ramen place tastes good. Like, it's salty,
Yeah. There's.
fatty.
It's very hard to go wrong with ramen. There is a way. I went to a place in Tokyo. I shat for 3 days after.
He was just consistently on the toilet for hours and hours a day.
Yeah. But yeah, like I doubt most people from like Canada knows like tonkotsu's from Hakata.
Yeah, it's not from. Oh, they're like, where's that?
It's not a Tokyo ramen, right?
Yeah, Tokyo ramen is actually the shoyu ramen.
It's a shoyu ramen.
Yeah,
Right?
there's the clear broth.
Tonkotsu's from Hakata in Kyushu, but no one knows that.
Yeah.
Just like it's been watered down so much, but
Yeah.
it's still good. It's still
Yeah.
good.
And I'm sure there's some really high end. The one thing I love about ramen is so versatile in the way it's just, noodles and broth at the end of the day with toppings, right? That's the most simplest form of ramen. And people are using it to elevate, and like, I feel like it's such a humble food, like it's a fast food, but then people have brought it to such a higher level. Like there's like the number one rated, I think, ramen place is actually in Texas.
Really?
In the States.
Yeah.
It's actually in Houston, Texas, or something like that. And they're serving like you get a tasting menu, like seasonal, like it's like
freshly caught, like fish.
yeah, like a pure vegetarian, like pumpkin based broth, or like they're fusing this, like all these cool things, like very creative things that people are doing, right?
You know, just fried lotus roots and like.
Yeah, like so many things like that. And even on YouTube, there's so many channels that are really good. This is one guy I watched, like I think Ramen Kwanshi, Kwan, it's Kaonshien, I think, something like that. Very good. Guy doesn't show his face, but he's like a real ramen chef, and he like does all these recipes, and yeah. Going from that, what are some of your favorite cuisines or foods to go out to get? Like, what is something that you're like, I can make it at home, but they just do it better at the restaurant?
I can't make it at home, but they do it better.
Or even just, what are some of your cuisines that you just like getting picked out for?
Okay.
Right?
One thing the one thing that I can never make at home,
Yeah.
but I really fucking enjoy is pho.
Oh,
Pho is difficult. Yeah.
It's so hard
If you
to
have
make.
12
Any of
hours to
those
kill,
broths that take like 12 hours to make,
I'm like,
it's pretty much unfeasible to make at home.
yeah.
Always better just get it at a restaurant.
Yeah.
It's so good.
It's
man.
so good though.
Vietnamese food, man. That's one thing that's really good in Toronto. Good Vietnamese food, man.
Good Vietnamese food. What else? I guess
Jamaican food.
Caribbean
food.
Caribbean
so
food so
good.
good. Yeah.
Bro, especially in GTA, we have a huge Caribbean population, and we got Jamaican restaurants. You got your Trini roti shops. Like, get some nice doubles. So good, man. Caribbean food's definitely up there.
And this is kind of unfortunate because it's so big in China. But just anything with like like Inner Mongolia, like Tibetan food, like lamb, roasted lamb. Those things are really really good. But like there aren't as much because
Yeah.
fucking boba and weed.
Yeah. Spencer's and Boba take over every shop, but
Yeah. What about you?
yeah, for me, definitely. I'm trying to think. Honestly, going to dim sum,
Dim
a
sum,
nice
yeah.
dim sum place. Like not even a fancy place. A place that just has good dim sum. In general,
You know
right?
the steam that you like smell when you walk into like an actual dim sum place.
Yeah,
is
it's like-
different.
It's great, and the ladies they just yell at you. You get peer pressured into taking every single thing. You want it? You want it? How many you want? And then, it's the best though. It's a whole experience,
Yeah, and it's very very different from like the stuff we buy at superstores, frozen stuff, right? It's
Yeah, you
the
can't compare.
texture.
Yeah.
Also, the restaurant experience, it has a lot to do with how much you enjoy your food, right?
Yeah.
You know, at a dim sum place, just like the familiar sound of like the clicking of like the fucking, I don't know if it's called China.
Yeah.
You know,
The porcelain,
cutlery,
porcelain
right?
cutlery.
It,
and
like that's kind of soothing to me. You
Yeah.
know, it makes me always relax,
old
like at
ladies
night.
yelling at you.
And then there's always like the elderly people just enjoying the food.
Oh, yeah,
having
those-
a good time. Yeah.
Yeah, and you look over, it's like a whole crew of old men.
Yeah,
They're all like talking about politics.
it's really unfortunate that those like spaces are going more
Yeah.
and more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we can't blame it because the young people are like the bulk of Toronto now.
Yeah.
But it still sucks. Like I wish I could have went to Ding Dong and the pastries.
Ripperonis, man. Ding Dong Pastries,
Ding Dong
Cantonese
Pastries.
Bakery. I was like, man, I gotta check that place out. It has an epic name. Ding Dong Pastries, beautiful name. Closed down. You know what's gonna open. It's either boba or a dispensary. It's
Yeah, it's
gonna
either or. No.
I know. There's no in between. But also, I mean, to go out to a restaurant, Mediterranean food. I mean, that's definitely up there.
Yeah.
That's like obviously like higher end. Like you get like go to for higher end. I think for me it's like, we're just more used to that also in Toronto. We have really good Mediterranean food here. I mean, so many Italian. We have the most Italians outside of Italy. I never knew that. Even more than New York now.
I did not know that.
Yeah. And we have, there's lots of Greek people, and then, just that people kind of like dookie on Mediterranean food now. They're like, oh, it's white, fucking white people food or whatever, right? Because like,
Yeah,
white-
well, those are like the best white people.
no, but they're spicy
what's-
whites. Spicy whites.
What's wrong with like
It's so-
white people food?
It's so good. Greek food is so good. When we went to Greece, like we didn't have a single bad meal, not one bad meal.
I mean, if you're eating jelly.
Yeah, those
eels,
people aren't
maybe
addicted
that's
to
what-
fucking high fructose corn syrups and goddamn canned shit,
I know.
It's not like American food where it's all like
Yeah.
just like post-war canned bullshit,
I know.
like corned beef.
Depression food.
It's like TV dinner shit. That's
That's how
what people
white
think
people
what
food.
white people
Yeah.
food is, but
European food is
there's
so
good food.
man.
Yeah.
Even people shit on Eastern European food, right? Because they think Soviet times and whatever. But
No, they're still
it's
making
not
bomb
even
shit.
even like I only had two things: borscht and fucking pierogies. But when you have a good pierogi, man, they're good. It's just a potato dumpling,
Yeah.
fried potato dumpling. It's good.
There's no reason why it's bad.
Yeah.
Unlike jelly eels.
okay, certain things I think a little.
Jellied eels. The British
Ugh.
don't got their
Okay,
food
British
down, though.
British have no excuse. British.
You take over all these fucking countries for
their spices.
and then you use none of them, and you eat fucking jellied eels. It's
I know.
disgusting.
Like pub food is the only good part of British cuisine. Pub food. For deep fried fish, I don't know.
Fish and chips are good.
Braised beef pie.
Yeah.
Okay, their pies are. I mean, British got pies are fire. But What else?
Jelly eels. No.
I don't know about the jelly eels though. But think about it. Like even people shit on British food, but it's like.
There's some good stuff. There's
I mean,
always
fish.
good
Think
stuff.
about simple things like fish and chips, like braised beef pie is so good. Like you get a nice braised beef pie, we gotta spice it up a little bit, put some hot sauce on it, but still, it's delicious, right?
Yeah, it's good.
It's just about yeah, I don't know. Like for me, okay, what would you guys say out of okay, let's play this game. This is gonna be great. What do you think? What is your favorite cuisine out of we're gonna do out of a certain area? right? So let's just say European food. What is your top food in terms of European?
Top food.
Like top cuisine in
Top
general that you
cuisine.
really enjoy.
Europe. Probably French. I just like the way they choose flavors. It's like very, very refined.
Yeah, I'd say
Yeah.
French too.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, it's got to be.
I
either
love pate specifically.
pate,
Pate.
I still need to try frog raw, even though like it's kind of.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
It's worth it. Fuck those.
Oh man, go
Fuck it. It's fucking tasty.
Hey,
Why
man.
not? You know,
I mean, people.
people commit worse things to animals.
I mean, yeah, come on.
You know.
I mean, confit canal. Oh my god, fried. We had that in Paris. It's just a friggin' seared duck leg. So good, man.
Oh yeah, they do duck so well. I wish
I know.
people eat more duck.
Duck.
Duck's so.
I mean, it's the beef of the poultry world. Like it's
Yeah.
so seared duck breast. Oh my god, man! With the wine sauce, forget about it, bro. It's so good. It's such a because you don't have to cook it all the way through. You cook it like a steak.
Yeah.
It's great. But for me, honestly, it's either between Greek food or Italian food. I mean, most people are gonna say Italian food, but I do like Italian food a lot, right? Because it's so simple.
Yeah, I love Italian food.
Yeah, it's simple, it's humble, but then it can also it's very elevated as well. But Greek food, I don't know what it is. Greek food is just so good, right? I mean, it's kind of European in the nature of it just being in Europe, but it's more like Mediterranean has got its own kind of flair, right?
Yeah.
But like gyros, friggin' Greek roast chicken, just the amount of dried herbs, fresh flavors, lemon, garlic, just like the flavors are so much more intense, right?
Yeah.
And for me, I feel like as I've developed as somebody as an appreciator of food, so I appreciate a lot more the simplicity in things as well.
Yeah, it's
Right?
just like simple, like raw flavors,
Yeah.
like just brings things out.
Like some people, they might think that, like Cantonese food is under seasoned. Like you go to dim sum, right? It's like, it's simple flavors, under seasoned, but it's about the delicate nature about the actual pieces, right? It's not about throwing a bunch of shit all together and making it tasty.
Food's not just about flavor; it's about texture as well. It's such a
Of course,
part of
it's
Texture's very important.
Yeah.
Like, why do you think we even like brown shit? It's like, sure, it's for the flavor, right?
Yeah,
but also
but the
like
texture,
people
man.
like the crunch
Crunchy
all the time.
Yeah, man. Crispy wing that we're gonna make later tonight.
Yeah, because like texture is such a big part. So
Yeah. Okay. Now the harder one, Asia.
I'm biased. I'm very biased.
I mean, I'm gonna be biased too as well.
Japanese food, but there's a reason. I ate Chinese food growing up. I think there's a lot of good things about Chinese food, but sometimes, at least from where I came from, Sichuanese, they overcomplicate the flavors with their seasoning. It's not very refined. It's very refined, but sometimes it's very flat as well.
I can get that. Yeah.
So that's why, like, when I first experienced Japanese food, I'm like, wow, the sharpness and the differences in the types of flavors of the ingredients.
It's so simple.
It's so simple,
as well.
but it's so delicate. For Chinese food, it's more like you
In
don't
your
care
face.
about you don't care about ingredients as much. Just put it together, a bunch of spice,
Yeah.
and then you have a final result.
Yeah.
Japanese food's been kind of ruined for me though, because like all I've had is like Japanese
Yeah.
food here, and they always go so heavy with the sweet sauces.
I hate
it's always too
It's too
sweet.
sweet, bro.
It's-
God damn.
I guess again, my perception is skewed too because I lived in Japan for.
Yeah, I mean,
They
that's
just
different.
put too much fucking mayo on everything.
It's like, Japanese mayo makes it Japanese.
everything better.
Oh my god.
disgusting, it
Yeah.
makes me sick.
But yeah, I really appreciate like other Asian foods as well. Like I mentioned, like Mongolian, Korean food.
Pretty underrated.
Korean
Mongolian
food
food.
is very good. I haven't had much exposure to Thai. I don't like Thai Express, unfortunately.
Oh yeah, that's not even Thai food. It's just
Yeah,
Chinese
it's
food with a
bad.
Thai name.
And Vietnamese food, obviously, it's very good as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my answer for Asia.
What about you, Daniel? Got any? Can you narrow it down? It's hard.
I don't know.
obviously.
I don't really eat a lot of Asian food,
You're
despite me
smart.
being Asian. I'm the most person.
Don't say that.
Literally.
Don't say you're whitewashed, bro.
I'm pretty whitewashed.
Hey, man.
I don't know how to even speak my own language.
That's
you know?
fine.
But, fuck, I don't know. I'd say Vietnamese.
Mm-hmm.
That's mainly because I don't know. I feel like Korean food, like it's. I don't really like kimchi that much, and I don't like how sweet that can get. And
Yeah, I think it
I just don't like. I don't like sweet food that much.
Yeah, that's the same thing for me, man.
Like I think in the West, like the whole like sweet and savory thing, like that always just never.
They
stuck
overdo
with
it,
me,
I
you
find.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah, they do overdo.
Like I hated sweet and sour chicken. I loathe that dish, right? Any sort of sweet and sour anywhere you get is like disgusting for me. But then I had actual sweet and sour chicken from a good
Also, like
good Chinese restaurant. Like this is delicious.
Yeah, it's just like very, very mild, right? And normally we do sweet and sour pork, like pork ribs too.
Oh yeah, sweet. I had sweet and sour pork and sweet and sour chicken as well.
Yeah. It's supposed to be very mild. Not
Yeah.
like heavily
Yeah.
sweet. If like when like people here do like sweet and sour shit,
Yeah.
it tastes like ketchup.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of it. Yeah.
It's very overwhelming.
Yeah.
What about
that's-
you, though? With Asian cuisine?
Well,
It's gonna be Korean, right?
well, I do love Korean food. Do really like Korean food, but I mean, it's got to be Indian food number one,
Oh,
of
sure.
course. But I don't know, man. I mean, Indian food is just for my people, bro. But the thing is about Indian food, it's a lot more diverse. Just like Chinese food, people don't realize how big a country is, right? They just think of the States and Russia, but how densely populated those two countries are, and how old the cultures are, right, within them. So much diversity, right?
Yeah.
Like there's been people in India for 50,000 years.
There's like 50 something ethnicities in China.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So like in India, there's there's thousands of languages. The food changes completely. There's a saying, right? Like every 100 kilometers you go, the food completely changes.
Yeah.
North Indian food compared to South Indian food compared to East Indian food, compared to Central Indian, and then Northeast Indian food completely. Northeast Indian food is like, this is a completely different cuisine. It's like Thai. They use like fresh bamboo shoots. And they cook with pork, and they use a lot of like jungle things, but it still has its Indian-ness about
People
it, right?
don't use bamboo shoots enough, I feel.
Yeah, and it's really interesting. I saw it actually. It was Gordon Ramsay, funny
Yeah.
enough, going to the northeast part of India by the Himalayas, right? And he's like, this is something that you would never see, right? They're using like fermented. That's because that's where the ghost pepper comes from.
Yeah.
Is Northeast India, and it's like so different, right? But I mean, if I had to choose not like another one, a not obvious one, right? Just because it's not my culture. It's hard, man. I do really like Chinese food as well, just because of diversity.
Yeah.
Chinese food is really good. Vietnamese food too. Thai food as well. Like Vietnamese and Thai food are kind of tied. Funny enough for me, but I've had better Vietnamese food than I've had Thai food in Toronto. So I'm probably gonna say Vietnamese food, maybe my second. Korean food I do like a lot, and I feel like I've cooked it so much that I know like I've got like the basics of, okay, you have a chili pepper based one, then a soy sauce based version of most things, right? And then, obviously I enjoy kimchi and all that, but yeah, I think it'd probably be because I couldn't eat it. I can't eat like Korean food every day. I don't think.
Yeah. Yeah. Just like so diverse. It's hard to choose.
Yeah, but
And like, I've been going back on this tangent a lot. But I do like one day just want to visit the highlands of like Asia, just
Mhm.
like near like Nepal, near Tibet.
Yeah.
I like just like
Oh, I'm a fan of Singaporean food.
what the what?
oh, like Luxor.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
bro.
love laksa.
I feel like Southeast Asian food, the melting pot areas like Malaysia, Singapore.
Malaysia too.
They're some of the highest rated food destinations in the world for a reason. Because the mixing of cultures always creates the best food.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And you have all these immigrants, Thai immigrants, Chinese immigrants, Indian immigrants, like everything is just mixed together, and
Yeah, then it's like that can produce really really good food, but like I feel like if you go to someplace like Nepal,
Mm-hmm.
it's very very pure, right?
Oh yeah,
The
mountain
stuff
food.
they have, like, and since it's such a their culture have not been changed for like thousands of years,
Mm-hmm.
I do want to like sort of experience that.
Yeah,
It's like we're all living in melting pot cultures.
yeah. No matter where you go,
Yeah.
right, you're being exposed with the internet now and stuff.
Yeah, shit's kind of sickening sometimes, you know. I don't necessarily like Korean corn dogs.
Well,
like
it depends what kind of Korean food. Let's just say that.
I just some
Korean
things just
corn
don't
dog.
make sense to me. Like, why are you putting like spam and all this shit? And fucking hot
Yeah,
dogs and
yeah.
all
There's
this
those
shit.
kind of like I'm making putting
Putting cheese
random
and all that
shit
shit.
in ramen and stuff. Yeah,
It's after a while, it's just like, all right.
She's Robin.
yeah. But
Yeah.
I no, but to me, when I think about that, I think about it the same way I think about butter chicken, chicken tikka, because it's restaurant food. Nobody makes fucking corn dogs in their house. Dude. Fucking Ajima's not making that, bro. You know, like I think that I'm talking about more the I'm not like I'm cooking traditional food all the time, but you know, like the everyday thing is what
Yeah.
I'm thinking about,
Yeah.
right? Like obviously there's Korean restaurant food. Like the reason why your fucking kimchi jjigae tastes so good because it's like 30,000 milligrams of MSG, and you know, that's why it tastes so good, right?
Yeah.
Same thing with your pork bone soup. Like you can't do that kind of stuff at home, but and like even Korean barbecue too. But you know, like just an everyday thing, just like making everyday soup and then just regular old stir fry with leftover vegetables. You got kimchi in the fridge, stir fry with some pork and vegetables, sesame oil, chili flakes, like just simple stuff. That's what I really like. And the thing about Korean food, it's actually quite simple, but it's just really intense and it's like garlic. First of all, I feel like Korean food uses the most garlic out of any cuisine ever. It's like, bro, that's when I think of Korean food, I think of sesame oil, Korean chili flakes, green onion, and garlic.
Yeah.
That is the soul of Korean food, right? Like you walk by a Korean restaurant, it's like, god damn, it's fucking raw garlic. Remember we were walking that night, and we were walking. It was after the open mic. We're heading to the.
Huh?
We were hanging out after. Remember, we just smelled like Korean barbecue and raw garlic.
No,
Oh yeah.
I do not
Anyway.
remember.
Yeah. Anyway,
Sorry.
Korean food. Yeah. What did you say for yours actually? Your
I
favorite
don't know. Probably Chinese.
Chinese food?
I'd say probably Chinese.
Chinese.
There's just too much like diversity to like not say that.
Pin it down.
Right?
Yeah, I think they should like really people should really like stop saying like Chinese food and more like Cantonese food,
Sure.
Chinese food.
Yeah, it's like
It's too big. It's way too big.
there's so much there's so much history and food culture.
It's
and
too
stuff.
different as well.
Oh, yeah, compare like think about Shanghainese food and then Sichuan food. Completely different.
Completely different.
Shanghainese food is like very delicate, fish
Very
flavors.
Yeah.
And it's kind of interesting how it's like, it's kind of like based off like the like geology of it, right?
Yeah.
Like northern Chinese food is more like buns and
Ah.
like dumplings. Things are steamed. Like it's type of shit you'd eat in the cold and you'd feel okay. You're
Yeah.
not gonna necessarily eat a salad when you have
Yeah,
to go
yeah.
out in the
You're not gonna eat
freezing.
a
Yeah.
you're not gonna eat a cold cucumber salad, bro.
Yeah, it's different, and I always found that really fascinating how the food kind of evolves around like the needs of the people.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
it really goes back to the first thing we talked about. Just a bunch of fuckers sitting around a campfire eating shit. Just how
How are we gonna
long
make this whatever we caught, whatever we grew, taste edible so
Yeah.
we can survive, right?
just human evolution, and food is such a core part to us.
Yeah,
There
it's
are-
literally
it
what
is,
makes
like-
human, man.
We're kind of evolved to even cook stuff, right? There are a lot of cooking's pretty important for like accessing certain nutrients, being able to digest things and stuff.
Yeah.
And like some of the first humans, they used to just boil shit, and you can see like remnants of like boiled grains in like their molars and stuff.
Food is it's very it's integral to our whole society, right? All right. Last question before we go. What is your last meal? What you're on death row?
Oh,
What is your last meal? We're gonna do just one meal,
I
okay?
really like chicken souvlaki. I don't know if that's authentic or not.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah,
Chicken
like
souvlaki, a nice, like
just
fresh
a
off
nice
the grill,
skewer with like a nice little bowl of
greasy Greek guy making it for you with no hair,
tzatziki. So
big belly. I love those
Yeah.
guys. George, his name's probably George.
George?
George the Greek man. George's Greek restaurant on Lakeshore in Etobicoke.
What about you, Languyan?
Fuck you.
Full name, baby.
But yeah, like for me, probably just like a simple, like nothing special, a bowl of like tonkatsu ramen.
Kind of like you, simple, nothing special.
Yeah, just like it's just like
Boring, even.
It's just so simple as things.
A
Hot and
loser,
warm.
even.
Yeah, a loser.
Yeah.
I'm gonna kill myself after this.
He's gonna jump off one floor.
Yeah,
guys.
I'm just gonna
He's
break
gonna be
my legs.
alive. He's gonna break all his bones.
Yeah.
and be alive. I think he's gonna die.
it's gonna be like the Twitch pit.
I know.
But yeah, just like nice and warm. I can just fucking kill myself afterwards.
Get an electric chair. Oh man, for me, I don't know. Cause I'm trying to think before something comforting versus something like the most decadent thing.
The
Right?
things are like, for me, like when I think like, oh, I'm gonna die after this. Like, I don't want anything extravagant. I just want to.
Something simple that you like. This hits you right here, right in
Yeah,
your
like
soul.
I feel like soul food obviously refers to like a certain type of food.
Yeah.
But like it's food for the soul. It's like if after you eat it, you feel like warm, and then you're like kind of sleeping one. Right?
Yeah,
I want
maybe
something
just,
like that.
yeah. I mean, for me, dal, a nice yellow dal tadka with the nice fried onions on top, the nice buttered roti. Oh my god, that's like the soul of North India. Like it's Punjab. That's literally because we don't really eat as much rice. We usually eat like more bread. But yeah, that's like with a jar. Oh my god, bro, dal with a jar on the side, some Indian pickle, and then yogurt, some Indian yogurt. That's it. I'm good.
Yeah.
Lots of butter in that shit. Yeah.
I feel like you can't really fucking eat lobsters, wagyu, and caviar if you're like.
Okay, another thing. Why are people so obsessed with Wagyu? Just
Yes,
why?
I love fat.
Yes.
This tastes like fat.
You can't eat
I
kibble
would
Wagyu and
say,
everything. You know, you can't.
A5 wagyu is very good, but like only if you ate like this. But
Yeah, you can't eat more than like 4 ounces, or otherwise you're gonna fucking throw up. It's like pure fat.
And like I know Google Foods like he cooms over Australian wagyu all the time.
I marinated this Wagyu in my literal shit
But-
piss for 10 days.
Let's see
Let's
how it
see.
tastes. What do you
do it.
think, Angel?
Forcing his goddamn nephew to eat
But listen to me.
literal
Listen to me.
poison.
There's a fucking reason why Japanese people import Australian beef. Australian wagyu is worse than Angus beef. I don't like that shit. That's what
I recently went to this like pop-up like Wagyu stew place, and I was perplexed.
Wait,
I was
Wagyu
perplexed.
Stew? What's
I
the
thought
point?
stew was meant for cheap cuts.
Yeah.
Like, why would you use Wagyu
What?
in a stew?
Oh,
It'll
just add oil. Like don't use
This
wagyu.
completely melts by the end. It's like here's a bowl of oil.
Why would you waste like such a prime cut of meat
Yeah.
on like literal like it's meant for like peasants.
Use a chuck steak.
You know.
I think I almost okay when I cooked A5 wagyu, like it was for friendly friends. And like something they did like fucking broke my heart. Like I almost had a fucking heart attack when I saw it. They microwaved it for 30 seconds.
Oh my
They're
god.
like,
I'm Chinese. I can't eat rare
Oh
beef.
my god, dude, you're sure not good. Bro. Microwave your
A5.
That
bro.
one piece is $20 right there.
Oh god.
But yeah, that's my
Oh, yeah.
story.
Yeah, that's definitely. I feel like the last meal is always something like just, hits you right there.
Yeah, makes you warm.
It's like this is good.
Some people don't know how to eat. Do you know Andy Warhol? He
Yeah.
used to have a recipe for chocolate cake where it was literally just like 2 slices of white bread and Nutella. Dude was fucked.
Yeah, I mean, he's an artistic genius, but
Yeah, no.
I mean, you gotta have a give and take in life. You can't be 100%.
That's why he's
everything.
dead.
Yeah. All right. So we're gonna. If you guys enjoyed this episode, please, please like it. I guess. Don't
And,
report us, please.
Put it in the comments if you never want to see us again.
Yeah. If you ever want to see Daniel cough his lungs out on camera,
They
again.
call me Black Lung Daniel.
Yeah. All right, guys. We'll see you next week, and yeah, follow us up on Instagram and everything. See you later.
I'm sorry, Sliver. This is gonna be such a pain to edit.